We're rolling. What's going on, you guys? It's your boy 360 Stacks in this thing, baby. Representing TKOG. I know it's been a little while since I've uploaded a live deck profile. I have been experimenting with Labyrinth. I played the Labyrinth deck with a Bistio variant. I played a trap heavy build that was inspired by Dinka Boy. I played a hand trap heavy build. I played a all gas super poly variant. The build that I took last week was the trap trick build with the backjacks. I went first place, went undefeated. We made it to top four. I was finished in first. We decided to play it out. And this week, I just got done today. I got first place again, went undefeated, and they wanted to split it this time. So last week, I got 24 in store credit. I got me a playset of Prosperities. And then earlier today, everybody wanted to split except for me. So majority rules, we split. I got about 6 packs of Phantom Nightmare and then 2 OTS packs. And last week's build was the trap heavy build. So I played against Bistio Blackwings. That was a 2-0. I played against Centurion Horus Resonator. That was a 2-0. I played the Mirror round 3. That was a 2-0. And I wrote a note just to specify it wasn't just a W, bro. He opened double rollback. He double rollbacked me game 1. He opened Ash and Bell. And game 1 lasted about 30 minutes, and I still won. And that was the build with no hand traps. Game 2, I turn 0 Eradicated him after he resolved a furniture to set trap. And it was just crazy. I turn 0 Eradicated both the Blackwing guy and the Centurion guy. And then game 2 in the mirror match against Lab, I turn 0 Eradicated him. And then round 4, I played against, where's this at? I see my notes. Okay, Sword Souls. He opened Ash double Imperm. I played through that. Turn 1 because I won the dice roll. A lot of my hands, wherever I saw furniture plus big welcome, were insane. They played through literally so much. I felt very comfortable playing into Nibiru. I know a lot of people were main decking Joel and Lockbird, and that hand trap specifically does nothing to either one of the variants that I got first place with. I knew that Ash and Bell were the only prevalent hand traps, and I got Ashed and Bell in the mirror, still 2-0'd him. I got Ashed and Imperm twice in the same turn, and I comboed through it. It was crazy. So yeah, that was insane. So I 2-0'd the Sword Soul match. Well, I'm sorry, that was 2-1. And then I proceeded to play another Horus variant with it was just combo Horus with Centurion cards in it too. That was a 2-0. And then I played Virtual Worlds as well. It doesn't look, I don't see where the 2-1 is or whatever, but that was last week. Actually I did, so I finished first, we played it out in Top Cut, and I did end up playing my homeboy Ding Ding with Virtual Worlds. I did lose game 3, so when we played it out, I still ended up losing. So technically I finished in second place last week, but the point is your placement is displayed. They show Top Cut. In Top Cut, I finished in first, and then you decide whether you want to play it out or split. So I guess I was second place last week, and my only loss was to Virtual Worlds. And then earlier today, I came in. I played Voiceless Voice round 1. That was a 2-0. The interesting interactions for that one was I know he bricked on hand traps. He specifically had Droll, Ash, Imperm. I did get drolled, and I could have searched another time, so I guess it kind of hurted. He obviously ashed my big welcome. No, he ashed my regular welcome because I held big welcome on purpose, and I played through his Imperm just using my, I ended up playing through his Imperm using my, I can't remember exactly what it was. No, I didn't play through Imperm, I'm sorry. I chained my Arius to his Imperm, and then I set up Chaos Angel through that. So I didn't stop the Imperm, but I played through it. And then round 2, I played against Virtual World, my same friend, Ding Ding, and that was a 2-0. His inboard game 1 was the Evil Czar rank 6. He ended with Shinshin, Chuche, and his face down was Imperm. And the consistent theme that I've noticed with this deck that I've been testing with it is this engine is so purely good, interacting proactively and reactively. This engine is so good. it's almost like I can crutch on engine more than I can crutch on hand traps. Like my engine does more for me than hand traps do. Like my engine can stabilize a game state quicker than hand traps do. My engine can simplify a game state quicker than hand traps do. My engine can break a board as opposed to hand traps preventing the board. And the theme that constantly was, because I built my deck a specific way and it was tailored to complement the playstyle of utilizing your Labyrinth cards to combo on your opponent's turn. So essentially what it feels like is I'm playing Fluunderies and Tearlaments from the start of the duel. Even if I lose the dice roll, I'm always playing on every turn. The consistent theme from last week, including this week, was I always played more than my opponent did. There was never a single duel that I had since I've started testing these specific two variants where my opponent played more than I did. I always played more than them, even on their own turn. Virtual, that was a 2-0. I know in game 2, I nipped him, and I ended up drawing double Pankratops and didn't get to use either one of them. But I know I nipped him, and I played through his Ash and his Cosmic Cyclone and his Chuche. And it was just crazy. Like, there's a lot of nuances that I'm skimming over because I don't want the video to be too long, but it's just so interesting that, like, I don't play rollback because I don't have it. I don't have a lot of the cards that I want, but the cards that my deck was supposed to lose to, I didn't have, like, call by to beat Ash or Bell. I just played through it. Like, Arius overperformed astronomically. Every scenario where I felt, like, 2020 hindsight, he has Ash, he has Bell, like, he has the interruption for my engine to get going, I always found a way to get Arius to set it up as opposed to the regular furnitures like my Shangri-La or my Stovey Torby. Like, I preferred to Arius into my traps because that body, it meant a lot, especially against Virtual World when I got Ashed on my trap. And I set up Typhon using my Arius, chaining in response to his Ash. And my Typhon, like, cleaned the rest of it up for me. And it was crazy. It was very, very crazy. This deck is insane. Like, my build, I love it. It's fluent, it's consistent. I play 0 pot cards. I've tested variants with Extravagance and Prosperity. I don't play any pots. I have so much engine. I've never bricked since I've played this variant, and I've tested it. Round 3, I played against Snake Eye, Pure Snake Eye. That was a 2-0. Game 1 lasted 28 minutes. I opened Welcome Big Welcome Nib Furniture with a Coup Clock as well. And I know I just let him play in the nib. Once I nipped him, I flipped my welcomes. He had no responses, no Ash, no Bell, anything. I flipped my welcomes and I turn 0 Duro Mechanic him because I set up the nib. He passed. I flipped my... Yeah, that's what happened. So I set up my nib. I nipped him. He set 1 pass. I know I played on his in phase. I got my Lovely Lady. And then I structured my plays. I put 7,100 on board. I could have went for game, but he did nib me. So he discarded a nib for Diabell Star, and then I just knew, like, I could telegraph he had another nib. So I put 7,100 damage on board through nib, and then I set up a way to Duro Mechanic on his turn because I couldn't Lady Chain Trap just because of the way I had to sequence my plays when the nib occurred. So I Duro Mechanic him on the crackback, and that was enough. And then the game 2 was just kind of unfortunate. He didn't draw enough engine to beat my engine. And the consistent theme, again, was just like I opened so much engine, and it didn't matter if it was Voice's Voice, if it was Snake Eyes. It just didn't matter what deck it was. When I felt like my deck was able to play, I felt like as long as I was strategic with my technical play, and it was just very methodical, honestly, I knew that I could beat any deck. And then the last round I played against Pendulums. He was undefeated. He was playing Supreme King Pendulums, and that was a 1-0 because we went to time in game 1. Our duel lasted 45 minutes. I was at 3,600 to his 25, and I had 4 cards in hand versus his 1 scale with 0 cards in hand. So I would have won either way. Let's open the packs, and then let's get into the list. So that's my little tournament report. Let's see what my pulls are looking like. Obsidian? Okay. That's the field spell for that Ashen deck. That's pretty cool. Oh, I like this. But yeah, the deck's been performing really, really well. I'm really confident with it. I don't have everything that I need, but the fact that I've been, like, nerfed and I feel like I've been playing handicapped and still performing this well online and IRL, it's been nutty. because I put up a video, just a little teaser of like my Labyrinth build that I was on not too long ago, and it was against like this runic variant. Oh, so that's the super, the Ashton guy. And so you guys did see like a little teaser, and like some people didn't know I was on Lab and they were like curious about the build. Now you guys are gonna see. So just stay in your seats, be a little patient with me, and we're gonna get there. That's not a good ultra. I don't want that. I know somebody that does though. So we got 2 more of the Phantom Nightmare packs, and then we have 2 OTSs, and then we have the list, and then we're done. Let's see. I'm just fishing for. Okay, is that my ultra? Oh yeah, I think that's my ultra. So I got the Goblin guy and the U-Bell. But again, QCRs exist, and I'm always optimistic. Let's get it. Okay, it's the Ashton guy. Alright, bet. Now for these ultis, boy. Let's be gentle with it. Super Aruha? Boy, I didn't know we had Super Aruhas. My last pack. I'll throw these away later. Let's get them off the video. Alright, so we're on our last pack. Usually something that I want, something that I need. It's the Vanadium Refraining. Okay. So there's our packs. So we pulled the Refraining Trap and Super Aruha out of the OTSs. So now we'll get into the list. We'll get into like the part that you guys are actually here for. And I guess the pots count, but that was from last week's W. Alright, so we'll start with non-engine first because this is going to be the simplest to explain. And I was on quite a bit. Like, it didn't feel like a lot, but it felt like a lot for me because I'm just so used to like playing this deck without hand traps. I like, it almost feels like it doesn't need it, but it's nice to pair engine with hand traps often. And Nib is very, very dominant in this format. I'm on 3 Nibs. I'm on 3 Ash because Ash is always safe. I've never felt like you have to cut Ash. Even when it's underwhelming until like you Ash a Thrust. Until like you Ash a Welcome and they can't play through it. Until like you Ash original Sinful Spoils and like they actually don't have anything else. And I'm obviously on 3 Imperm. This is a hand trap that actually is engine, which is really, really unique. I like it a lot. Several games I reset Imperms off of my lady playing a little bit behind getting hand trapped. And like just the fact that this deck can infinitely loop any trap is like a huge advantage that other decks literally do not have. I did play the 2 Shufflers. Today, I didn't resolve them at all. I never drew them, but last week they were kind of crazy. These cards are extremely good against the Voiceless Voice and any Snake Eye variant, especially the Fire King variant. They play out of their grave after turn 1 more than like the pure Snake Eye deck does. I mained the Called By. It wasn't just for Ash. Called By is just really, really good this format. Even going second playing into boards because of the existence of Princess and a lot of the Fire King interactions coming off of 1 initial disruption being a pop and like 4 or 5 things going off. Called By can literally like shut everything down. Especially when it's all coming off of Princess popping their guy. Called By is broken. I do play the Unchained variant. Last week I did not. Well, last week I did, and this week I did too. So these are just never coming out. I think these are absolutely correct. It is 2 bricks, but it's something that allows you to like generate critical mass when your deck literally just cannot. There's a lot of games that I wouldn't have been able to close out if it wasn't for this. And when you get to the point that you're actually setting up the trap with Labyrinth is particularly my favorite setup with my Field Spell. Like, I've never lost after resolving the escape with the Field Spell. Like, you literally can go +4 just off of that. And that, like, that's understatements. Like, you really can plus more. Like, it's insane. And then my 3-1 of traps of choice, even though it's something that you can opt out, is IDP, Durama, and Eradicator. My deck can consistently set these up turn 0. This is for the scenario where my deck is not really setting up Omni Negates and I can hand loop for 2. I consistently hand loop for 2 a lot. But Eradicator gives me hand knowledge and it also gives me coverage against things that like my engine just doesn't trade with evenly. It doesn't really deal well with board breakers, like especially like set 3 to 4. Not like I lose to it, but it definitely gives me information. It definitely scopes. And it deals with cards that like Baron normally would trade for, like my Omni Negates would normally trade for, my Appaloosa, the things that I don't have. I feel like Eradicator does everything that I need it to do that my labs can't really carry for me. So that's the non-engine. And I think the hand trap I drew the most all day was like Nib and Imperm. I barely drew Ash. So now for my engine. This is very controversial. I'll explain it a little later. I'm on 3 copies of silver. I'm also playing 3 copies of Ariana. I do play 1 pink. We'll talk about it, but I think this card is extremely mandatory. There's no list that I feel should not play it, like regardless of what your variant is. I played 3 copies of Arius. I don't play as much, like a bountiful amount of normal traps that I did last week, but this card is, I can't even stress how important it is. And then I played 3 copies of Stovey Torby. I pulled 1 super with the pack I got from entry, but I need 2 more, so I'll just, we don't, those aren't real. All right, so 3 Chandelier. I played 3 copies of Kuklok. Again, some of this is controversial. Not the card choices themselves, but the ratios, of course. And then 1 copy of Lovely. And then I also played 3 copies of Big Welcome, which is standard. But instead of 1 or 2 regular welcomes, I opted for 3. A lot of the times where I could choose having Extravagance in hand or a welcome trap, I would rather open a welcome trap. Pairing these, now I can talk about it. And of course, the 1 field spell. This is like, sometimes, a lot of times, this feels like the most broken card in my deck. It's such an uphill battle for anyone playing against me once I've established this. And like, I can consistently get this off on turn 1. Turn 0, I set up my traps. Turn 1, after I've like looped my furnitures back, I set up Labyrinth as soon as possible because it de-escalates a lot. Like so many games where I can close them out. I know I can, but like I can close them out swiftly with my field spell. This transforms any of my traps that are not labyrinths into a Yama, into a Muckcracker on my opponent's turn. When I specifically played against Pendulum, game 1, when he set up his board, I turned 0 Daruma Cannon him for 4, and then he made Time Star with the trap and the spell graph. I had to systematically pick his board apart and clear all the bodies, and I looped Chaos Angel 3 times. I didn't even use the field spell. I used Muckcracker and Yama, and it actually on summon. If I had the field spell and I had resolved Kuklok in that scenario, it would have been 4, but I wasn't able to like use a non-lab. I needed to activate my welcome off of Kuklok. But this card's crazy. If you go into your Unchained combo after making, like on the crackback, just using Chaos Angel, what happened?
Battery's low.
Battery's low? So is the flash off?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you still see me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So sorry guys, my battery's low on my camera. So yeah, if you use Chaos Angel to make the Unchained cards, like on the crackback, it's more insane value with Labyrinth up, because it means like your escape, paired with the field spell, can bring back the Chaos Angel for the banish. You still get the pop, you still get the link off of your link 2 in an SP. It's like too much interruptions. It's too much. So the card's nice. Big Welcome is always my favorite to set up. He's like, I turn 0 this, and I start my turn also with a free disruption. So it helps with the crackback a lot to like turn 0, Big Welcome, it's engraved, and now like your ladies on field means this card trades even better. So this is my favorite one, without a doubt. It dodges Imperms, it dodges Veilers, it dodges a lot of stuff. It plays around a lot. It only plays into Bell, where Welcome doesn't, but this card lets you grind like forever. And you like opening up, but like now we can talk about, I guess, the reason why we're on 3 ladies. We're on 3 ladies specifically because lady plus any way to activate a trap on your opponent's turn essentially can become turn 0 Eradicators, Darumas. The best and simplest way, and oftentimes the most cost, like, because this deck, it is a resource-based deck. Like, the Labyrinth deck, for me, it's like, it's a good deck, but the best way to describe it is a resource-based deck. It can do a lot, like, because it accrues so much resource and generates so much critical mass. Arius plus any one of the Welcomes and Lady is turn 0 Eradicator. It's the combo that I built my deck to see the most consistently turn 0, which is why Arius is at 3 and Lady's at 3. That's the primary reason. But it's not just about Eradicator. It's turn 0 any trap I want. If I didn't turn 0 Daruma against Pendulum, he was going to set up like Appaloosa, Vortex, Borreload Savage, you know it. Like, and I don't know how I was going to break that without like looping Lava Golem. So the 3 Arius and the 3 Ladies are like standard for that. And also the fact that like on the crackback and even on interacting on my opponent's turn, Arius is just too much value and puts in too much work. Like, this is the reason why I can like bypass the Kuklok sometimes. Because like I've gone Arius to set up, and then I activate my trap. They chain Ash. I chain Arius to summon itself, and then on my opponent's turn, I just loop it again to set another trap. And often I do that. Like whether I bricked and drew my Lady, like I just Arius into her. Like sometimes I literally draw like Lady. So I just go normal Arya, effect, add Arius, Arya special her out. Like, Arius is just broken. Like, Arius is literally insane. It's a 3-up for me. It does a lot. Like, its ability to just keep floating out of grave and allow me to continually, like, just do what I want with my traps and not clutch purely on Clue Clock. Like, this being at 3 is the reason why I can activate multiple normal traps the same turn they're set, like, in my build. And then I play one Pink. Whenever I have a scenario that I can get to Ariana, I go to Arion instead. Both of her effects can be used the same turn. The setup that I go to, sometimes I opt out from the Dweller because of the economics that I get off of these cards generating that much advantage. It is a resource-based deck. Oftentimes, the moment you resolve one, welcome, you're established. If you resolve the second one, you're snowballing. And the furnitures for me are just non-negotiable. This card's broken. This card's literally insane. Like, this card is the reason why, like, the moment you flip D-Barrier against Branded, which is a really good deck this format, believe me, they're never going to win. The moment you flip Eradicator or you flip Different Dimension Grounds, they're never going to win. Because the moment it resolves, it means you're playing. You have another turn. If you bought yourself another turn, she's going to buy you 20 more. So this deck has infinite loops, and it's really, really broken. And then the rest are just the furnitures. These kind of are another reason why I really don't like the pots so much. I know the pots have a chance of seeing engine, but like I want to draw the actual cards themselves. And I don't want to play in the draw when I'm not supposed to. So the 3 Ku Klok for me is perfect in this build. Ku Klok paired with any one of these 6. And even Ku Klok plus Ariana is a really, really gross 2-card combo. There's a lot of combinations, like 3, even upwards of 4 cards that get you not only advantage that snowballs into like insane follow-up on the crackback as well, but it's just the fact that this deck plays through so much more than it looks like it does. Yeah, I love it. And a lot of my turn 0 interactions do establish a line that goes straight into Chaos Angel as one of my first actions. Going straight into Chaos Angel and using the Unchained engine as like I bait as much as I can, and as long as I have 2 Fiends on field, I know I can play. I'm playing a trap deck, but it feels like a mid-range combo deck. So that's that, and then I have my extra deck. I have Relinquish Anima. This is my proxy for Clara and Ruska. I have Mudcracker, which I'm going to bump to 2, but I only have 1. I have Dark. This card comes up all the time, as well as Little Knight. The MVPs were definitely Mudcracker and Dark and Little Knight. I summoned them probably the most outside of Yama. I don't really go for this. Like, I don't go for it just default. Like, I would say that. Like, if I have Lovely established, like, if I have Lovely, Silver Castle, and, like, Ariana, sometimes I just leave that. Because, like, all 3 of them generate advantage on their own. Like, I can consistently keep hand looping, protect myself from Ashes and Bells, draw cards, and keep setting the traps I want. Ku Klok and Arya sit away. So, this is more like to secure the bag, make sure that I can kill them. And also, if I've been hand trapped to the extent where, like, I cannot afford to leave my cards on field if I don't have traps to activate, this gives me a trap to activate, in addition to giving me free interruptions and follow-up. Like, Yama was made for this deck. Like, Yama is crazy. Like, it brings back any Fiend. And the field spells do the same thing. Like, you can actually infinitely loop the Unchained links because of the field spell. It just, the limits are your extra deck. And then I play 1 Goddess. I play 1 Abyss Dweller. There's a lot of matchups where, like, I just feel like if I can play a deck that can make Dweller, why would I not play Dweller? This is one of the best cards ever printed. And Pink Girl gets me into Dweller turn 1 consistently. I play Dingirsu, some more non-targeting, non-destruction removal. I play Wallow. This card is disgustingly good. I don't know why lab players are not playing Wallow. This card it's a behemoth. I play Typhon and then his brother Zeus. Typhon is probably, I'm not going to lie, out of XYZ, Typhon is the number 1 mate. I need 2 Typhons and another Mudcracker. And then this is my proxy for Chaos Angel. At locals, they let me proxy until I get my own, but this is just Chaos Angel. And it's at 1 for right now. Once I've summoned, I can keep getting it back. But that's about it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. God bless you. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. If you guys want to see more of this deck, I'll definitely give you more content. As far as my knowledge on the matchups, I can get more in depth, but I feel like the video is long enough and you guys get the gist of it. But we'll definitely show you more lab content, voice content. I'll be showing you guys some Fire King and Snake Eye content. Peace.